everyone had a diary.
Welcome back, everybody. We got one last game on the docket here today. Cloud9 ready to take on FlyQuest. I'm still Flowers, that's still Rez, and you are still tuned in here for the LCS.
Let's go. I mean, I'm excited for this one because there are a lot of storylines you can pick apart for this one. Cloud9, of course, taking 2 losses in the previous week, and so they definitely want to find some normalcy. Also, from the interview that King had, making it very clear, like, hey, you know, we didn't have much time to practice here before the split started. 3 scrims, or 3 days, that is, before the actual split began. Meanwhile, on FlyQuest side, you know, they had a pretty okay week, but they're trying to get better and better with Dream on lock with their team, and I think it's looking, they definitely have a clear identity in trying to scrap you.
Okay, let's see how the draft ends up looking here, as both top laners from the previous game will be banned out immediately.
There it is.
Renekton and Gwen off the table. Varus is also banned. Karma and Lulu banned away, so 2 of those big supporting enchanters off the table. Ezreal's still here, but Varus is gone.
Rumble is still available. I wonder if Cloud9 is going to ban it. FlyQuest didn't show an inclination of wanting to heavy prioritize that. Instead, you know, last time going towards the Viego instead. And we've been seeing Viego higher in priority for some teams. You know, G2 out in LEC have gone for a higher priority in Viego for their top laner.
Viego's a very G2 champ.
It is. I know, when I think Viego, I definitely think Wonder. So there we go. I love that lock-in that he had. But it's going to be the Rumble pickup here for FlyQuest. It's a good flex pick. I've heard about top laners willing to pick it. Licorice is another great Rumble player, but I'm imagining that it's going to be going towards Jose Diodo.
Okay, so with that Rumble locked in, let's see what Cloud9 wants to respond with here. A couple seconds left before they have to make that first lock in. It's Senna, this champion. It feels like she's been on the ban list for so long, she might as well be back in the Lantern, but now she is freed, my friend, and she will be locked in here for what I'm assuming is King.
Yeah, and when there's a Senna, there's a Tom Kench.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Clear the bench. It's time for Kench.
Unclog the Kench.
Wait, no. You can't. That was... You gotta make it rhyme, man. You can't say unclog the... What?
We're gonna find more as we go into the game.
Oh, good lord, man.
Unclog
Okay.
the frog. My bad. My bad. I goofed.
You heard it here first, folks.
It's a good
unclog the King.
Hey, it's a good anti-joke, all right? Just something so stupid that you vibe with it anyways.
Okay, I gotta recompose myself here. Ezreal locked in for FlyQuest. I already pointed out we saw the Varus banned away. Ezreal was left up, so it's Ezreal versus Senna here in the bot lane. Viego now the hover. Wouldn't be too surprised to see him picked up. He has had some pretty impressive moments here so far.
Yeah.
Do they want to go for it?
I
Yes,
think
they do.
I think it's a pretty tough call going into Senna Tom Kench. The range that Senna has, the Tom Kench, like, survivability, and of course being able to take up anyone that, you know, Viego tends to lock down. So I think it's going to be a difficult fight for Viego to stick on a member, but we'll see.
All right, Cloud9, you get one more pick before we head to those second half of the bans here. They've got their bot lane, and the point that I made previously talking about flex picks, Cloud9 has not done any of that here so far. We know where Senna Kench are going.
Yeah.
We know where Xin Zhao is going. So that means FlyQuest knows exactly what to target here in the second phase, solo laners for Cloud9.
Xin Zhao being picked up here. It's been rising in priority in North America. I was wondering if it was going to be a Lee Sin here on 3-pick for Cloud9. Not going to be the case here. So Xin Zhao, you know, is definitely a great jungle and an answer to Rumble jungle. So a lot of the problems that Rumble has early on doesn't want to participate in an early scrap.
Well, Xin Zhao loves that.
Yeah, that's what he makes his name off. So it's definitely going to be Cloud9 playing around Blabber, which they're insanely used to. It's been what made them so strong. So Blabber going to be really empowered in the early portions of the game.
Okay, Akali will be banned away by Cloud9, so they want to get rid of some more of that flexible power. Remember that both Viego and Rumble are flex picks in their own right, so the only thing that Cloud9 knows for certain is that Ezreal is in the AD carry role. Zoe will be banned out by FlyQuest here. I already mentioned that the solo lanes are going to be the target, so they want to look there towards mid more than top.
Yeah, I can understand the Akali ban. Even the biggest problem that Tom Kench has is even if you can save an AD carry or someone for a little bit, you just throw down the veil and just stick around. The sticking power that Akali
so
has.
much time.
Exactly. So good ban here. If you're FlyQuest, you're just kind of looking for support. So I'm imagining that you are probably going to go for a Nautilus, something to that nature. I'm thinking about what would make it. It has to be a pick that locks down somebody for the Rumble ultimate. Rumble Ezreal really benefit from having a Nautilus or a Leona.
Right. And we will see the Wukong banned out by Cloud9 as well. Feels like this sort of subscribes to the same type of thinking as the Akali. He can buy himself extra time with clone. He has 2 casts of the ultimate to continue to apply pressure even through a Devour. So Cloud9 really looking at keeping King protected here. Final ban of the draft, Sylas banned away by FlyQuest as C9 are thinking about the classic in a Jace maybe. Ooh, Camille.
I love this. Not only is Fudge a fantastic Camille player, I know we have 8 seconds to really lock this one in, but he's just... It works really well for this composition that is great at team fighting, has an added win condition of being on side lane.
Nope.
Jace does the same thing, though. So at least being able to say, hey, you know what? Everything's working. We have pressure through mid lane. Tahm Kench, drop ship him top side to where the Jace is. So you at least now have a carry in the top side of the map, a range advantage with Senna. Now add that to the poke that Jace can provide.
Yep. Now let's see how FlyQuest want to respond to it. Worth noting that while Cloud9 is all physical damage right now, there's not really a tank character on FlyQuest. Yes, Ezreal can build a Frozen Heart, Rumble gets a Zhonya's Hourglass, there's all these things that can help you be a little bit tankier against it, but we're not seeing like a full-on tank that's just 5 big armor items, right? So I wonder if Cloud9's going to go ahead and get themselves an AP threat there in the mid lane for perks, but the lock-in will be Lee Sin for the side of FlyQuest. 8 seconds left on that last pick. We're still looking for a support. What will Dreams bring into this role? You're up against a Senna Tahm Kench.
Whoa!
Answer, SORAK.
A SORAK that you're picking, they wanted to either go towards what is, you know, a tank option that can start a fight, but the problem is you're going into a Tahm Kench. He feasts on that. He loves that, especially in the matchup. So he made it easier for himself. SORAK now. So FlyQuest, look at that composition. That's a Lee Sin pretty much being the only form of engage. You could say that Palafox diving in, but it's not going to be an Ox. Lock in for perks.
Okay, so we have a powerful split pusher in a Jace, incredible range and safety in Senna Tahm Kench, and then a lot of extra mobility to bounce around where he needs to be for perks. How does FlyQuest need to answer this against Cloud9?
This is really tough because they have a team fight composition, but they don't really have great lockdown. But if they're in an objective, if they're there first, it's so difficult for the Cloud9 to push them off of it in an extended fight as well. You know, everyone loves to talk about how Lee Sin and Viego has insane survivability.
Yeah.
Now you have the ultimate from SORAK, you have the heal that she can provide during the fight, and also the silence that SORAK has. I know that LeBlanc was picked as an answer. You have to really watch out if you're perks and you're going in, get silenced instantly by the SORAK. A great SORAK player can really cancel out the use of, you know, of an assassin coming in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, you just, as soon as she distorts in, you throw the silence right on top of her landing point. All of a sudden, wait, what do I do?
True.
I'm stuck in the middle of everybody.
That being said, you can see how volatile it is, because that's true. But the more often response, and this is why perks went towards the LeBlanc, SORAK just dies, man.
Yeah, she's not super survivable against something like that, especially with a Xin Zhao right next to it. So
exactly. Dash forward, Q, Alt, E, pop to SORAK. And also you have the poke from the Jace to follow up. So there's a lot of just burst power from the side of Cloud9.
Yeah, with Xin Zhao and LeBlanc together too, because you're talking about, you want to see FlyQuest get ahead to really utilize this comp that has powerful team fighting but not much engage. If Cloud9 gets ahead and you've got Xin Zhao and LeBlanc just roaming around saying, we don't care about minions, give me champions, what are you going to do to stop that?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go, Cloud9 as a 5-man unit just deathballing out of the base. Let's see where they decide to take this.
Oh, it looks like the plan is to be inside the bush, so if Johnson and Dreams are trying to get pressure early, they're going to meet a squadron.
Oh, man, that could be a very, very rude awakening.
Okay,
so Cloud9 will send a couple members further forward. Considering they find nobody down here, we will go ahead and see the recalls come out. Nobody on FlyQuest wants to risk anything. SORAK is still all the way back in the base. Cloud9 will step forward. They will find the ward that was placed down in the tri-brush. Considering the whole crew's together, FlyQuest knows this is not a good place to be.
Yep, and now that experience, the ward experience goes over to Perk, so he's going to be a little bit happy about that. All in all, good expedition from Cloud9. Meanwhile, FlyQuest, they're going to be starting topside, you have to believe. And for Jose Diodo, his entire plan has to be to avoid the Xin Zhao as much as possible. Just path away from him if he can. So I'm imagining that it's going to be topside to bot, while Xin Zhao is kind of, you know, parallel to that, going bot to topside. But mid lane is really kind of Pandora's box. Like, what's going to happen there? LeBlanc has such great setup for Xin Zhao, so Palafox has to really be aware.
Okay, so also worth noting, 4 Conquerors on the side of FlyQuest, including putting Conqueror on the Rumble. Oftentimes you see Rumble go for something more like the Dark Harvest, something that gives you the instant damage. Conqueror does require him to stay in the fight for a longer amount of time. So I do want to see how well Jose is able to manage that. Yeah,
and the Conqueror on the Jace, we've seen a lot of Phase Rush Jace over the years. We've seen a lot of that. But with the nerf that Phase Rush has really kind of gotten hit with, especially with range champions there, Jace now, it's an easier decision for him to go towards Conquerors, especially versus a beefier champ like the Lee Sin.
Okay, down here in the bottom lane, Senna Tahm Kench. We haven't seen it for a while. Like I say, Senna has been occupying a spot on the bans for quite a long time. But remember that early on, Senna will be doing all the poke up until the support item is charged. Tahm Kench will be responsible for the farm, so we'll be comparing him with Ezreal, and everybody in the chat will still think they're clever because they spam Senna 0 CS. Now back in mid lane, Perkz here on the LeBlanc up against the Viego. I want to see Perkz be able to roam around and affect the map. This is a guy who was on G2, which was one of the most crazy, they still are one of the most crazy teams to watch. Everybody roaming around, making plays together, and that's the kind of attitude and the kind of energy that I want to see this pick have on Cloud9.
Yeah, we definitely need to see that level of creativity being brought over to Cloud9 and to North America. I would definitely appreciate that. And especially with the comp that Cloud9 has right now, once mid-game comes open, towers go down, have Fudge on side lane, have Perkz on the opposite side. This is a really good 1-3-1 comp. That Vulcan and King can dropship, I said, towards Fudge. Same thing is true for LeBlanc's lane. So there's a lot they can do as the game goes on. But it's going to be a long trek to get there with how much pressure Dreams is applying towards his bot lane. So that's just what King and Vulcan has to deal with.
Okay, Blabber secures that top side Scuttle Crab. And now, do they really want to go for a dive here? It looks like they might. Licorice trying to defend underneath the turret, but they're already going in. Blabber needs a little bit more damage. The wind becomes lightning, but Perkz brings the thunder. First blood for Cloud9.
Gets him. The TP was coming through from Palafox. He thought he can get there on time. Maybe he can get the kill on towards LeBlanc. Not going to be able to.
Nope. Yeah, he was able to stop his recall, gets a bit of damage, but the actual kill threat just not there.
What a great window from Cloud9. Knew that they had that one opportunity. Went for it.
Ooh. Okay, Perkz dashing back away. Just trying to be a little bit cheeky here on the way out.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, this has just been great from Cloud9. Took a look at this bot skirmish.
Oh, we aren't done yet, my friend. Flash coming out from Vulcan as they continue to chase. Considering that's a flash from Johnson, you take that as a win. Remember that Johnson does not have a combat summoner spell. Opted for the teleport here on the Ezreal and has to get back away.
That's always the difficult aspect, dealing with a Senna Tahm Kench. Especially Senna with Glacial Augment.
Oh, yeah.
Can just rush you down. With approach velocity. There's just so much, especially in a long lane. If Johnson and Dreams are running you through, trying to chip you at turret, but if you just make that one mistake, that's a long trek back home.
Oh, yeah.
So just watch out for that. Blabber's definitely cluing in.
So Dreams will leave the bot lane now, turns on the sweeper, looking for any sort of Cloud9 vision here in the river. Of course, there is none to be found. We know that because we have the knowledge, but he does not. Perkz with a nice sidestep over Jose Deodo's stun here. And he'll just continue hanging back. He knows that his own jungler's clearing his wolf camp. There's no point in excessively overextending here. So Perkz will just trade casually with Palafox.
Yeah, Palafox is in a really comfortable position.
Oh, nice shot.
Nice. Keeps him in a little longer. Not going to be able to get that by. At least it's going to take a little bit of time. So yeah, Dream's doing a great job here. It's a veteran decision here, just like knowing that Johnson's going to be fine bot lane, waves coming in towards him. And Dreams has that one window to just help out Palafox get the wave in.
Yeah, let him harass. Let him make sure that he gets whatever he needs to have here. He will stay in the lane, try to get that wave shoved up a little bit further, but now he takes the back, recognizing that Perkz has done the same. Remember that while Palafox has the teleport advantage over Perkz, who took the Ignite, that's how he got the first blood, the teleport's not up, so both of them will have to take the long way back to the lane.
Here we are. Blabber and King getting good information here of where Jose Deodo is.
And Jose doing a good job pulling those Krugs away from their spawn point, right? Because remember that once Xin marks them with the W, he's able to dash over the wall, immediately be there, but he can't be there if there's nothing to stab. Now King will continue just holding his own here in this bottom lane. Notice the very early Executioner's calling. First item for King. It's because you're up against SORAK, it needs to be done.
Yeah, it's a good decision. It always feels tough for players out there to make that call because it is quite a bit of an investment early on in the game.
Yeah.
But definitely needed going up against SORAK. And at this stage of the game, I think, oh, wow, man, Cloud9 putting in a lot of pressure through mid. This is definitely going to be tough for Dreams and Johnson. They can't push out. And look at that wave.
Oh, that feels so bad for them. But Blabber and Perks rotating down, seeing their opponents will not give them that open window. Instead, just send Blabber into the pit. Xin Zhao is very capable of soloing down a Drake. Not much else to it.
Yeah, I originally thought that Cloud9 was just trying to get the Scuttle Crab down so they can get an eye on FlyQuest when they were on the objective. Because they have bot lane push. You know, Johnson and Dreams have been doing a good job up until that point. But it's been classic case of Blabber working with Perks, the advantage that he has, the pressure that he has through mid lane. Palafox is not going to be able to match that, and so that's going to be first Dragon over to Cloud9.
Yep, and Blabber pulls it all the way out of the pit, so even though FlyQuest knew that it wasn't there, they couldn't see how low it was. They couldn't try to move anybody nearby for any sort of a steal. So Blabber grabbing that one here for his team. And Blabber, I also want to look at this because this is fun. The build that we've seen be the most prevalent for Xin in pro play here in the LCS has been the Gore Drinker Sterex build.
Yeah.
That is not what Blabber is playing. He's going Divine Sunderer. We know that the item was super buffed, and it's now incredibly powerful, but it feels like an item like this, which is mostly offensive power, drain tanking power, skirmishing power, isn't normally what you would see in competitive play where he needs to be more of a tank, but not Blabber, man. Blabber's ready to just go in all the way on this, and I can't wait to see if it works out or not.
And true, you're right, but like we're seeing a lot of tanks that usually go towards the chem tank, right? Like just basically the type of items that go tanky anyways. Go towards this item just because of how much health that it gives you.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it is basically an offensive item, it's an offensive item with a nice defensive capability with the health. So you can still get that going for you. I've also remember seeing, I think, a little bit in the LPL, people going towards like Frost Fire Gauntlet on towards the Xin. So a lot of, my God, Licorice.
Holy cow. Fudge nearly getting a solo kill up here. Licorice has to retreat all the way home, but Perks might send him home the other way. Raz. Perks is coming. Okay, Licorice, he gets out in time.
Yeah, used his dash already to get there, but Licorice's spidey senses were tingling.
Well, Vulcan nearly killed down here in the bottom lane as well. King down to about 200 HP. Both Cloud9 bottom laners looking pretty worse for wear here in the trades.
It hurts, but that's why you picked the SORAK as real, just the amount of poke that it has within the lane. Jose Diodo is going to be here. This is just one TP, but, you know, actually King is here on time with ultimate. They can defend this.
King coming around, Vulcan marching forward. He's going after these guys as if it's a 2v2. It is not a 2v2. Vulcan losing a lot of HP here with a snipe coming out, and that is enough. The Ignite from Perks will kill off Palafox thanks to the help from King.
What a great presence of mind of King. While the scrap is happening there from Vulcan, peers towards the mid lane and recognizes that he can help Perks out.
Oh, but now we got Jose showing up here in bottom lane, looking to punish this duo. They want to get away with the Senna. They might be able to so far, but the Devour comes out. Vulcan's able to keep them safe, and FlyQuest will not get a return kill in the bottom lane.
Just a lot of pressure here from FlyQuest, but King and Vulcan doing so great at being able to absorb it. Still a gold lead there. Still a lot of pressure from Cloud9. I think Cloud9's got to be able to get a lot going on the top side. It is nice to see Perks being able to get that kill on a Palafox. You know, solo kill with an asterisk with Senna helping out there, but it was great to see.
Okay, Licorice is going in for the solo kill on a Fudge, but it's a team game. Oh, Perks with all 3 kills so far.
He is huge 9 minutes in. I wonder if he's going to go back and get the a ring because he's starting to stack them up. He could. But yeah, this is what happened. Double chain. Can't go anywhere. Yeah, I mean, this is just a full combo. So Palafox was just in a bad position there when he was trying to get his wave in. We didn't see how he initially got caught, but yeah, rough going.
And Senna didn't even hit him, right? Yes, you give the shield to the LeBlanc, so you're able to say that you got an assist there.
Yeah.
But the ulti itself, Palafox did a good job using his own ult to grab the iframe to jump out of the way. But sorry, man, you're up against LeBlanc that's already got some kills under her belt. You're not getting away from that damage. Perks at 3-0-0. 10.5 minutes into the game, the mythic item is online, and it's a Ludens. So there's even more burst available. This guy is scary if you are wearing FlyQuest colors this game. As Tom Kent shows up in bottom lane, he's bringing the party with him. Blabber's ready to go. Johnson's in a bad spot, and Vulcan's coming around from the side. He throws out the lick, but it will not stick. Doesn't really matter because Blabber just takes him out.
Dreams is aware that that was going to be a thing that was happening, and he was positioning himself defensively, but you know, Johnson thought he can get away, had E, had Flash, but ended up dying off that one.
Not in the 1v3, not when you're already stuck in the alcove. Dreams hanging out over the wall here, but with Blabber showing up, he'll just drop down this Rift Herald. This will grab a couple of plates here for C9 and provide a little bit of extra pressure. As Blabber goes in, nicely done with a win, becomes lightning. Dreams will be killed instantly. Jose Deodo running away as Palafox comes in from the side, looking to find some sort of a return kill, but instead it's already going to be a double over to Perks. Could it be number 3? Nope, give it to the Kinch, baby. 7-0 Cloud9.
Just straight runs them over. Palafox coming in behind to think he can help his team out a little bit, but was getting collapsed on by Vulcan and King as well. A full commitment from Cloud9.
And this is what I was talking about with Sin. I really like how they added the extra skill expression in the champion, reward players for hitting those long-range spear stabs, extend the charge range. Blabber just flashes in, he's ready to go. Perks is right behind him. This is what you want to see from this squad, who is up 4,000 gold 12 minutes in. Yeah,
I mean, Dreams was up against the wall, didn't have flash or heal for that one. So the moment Blabber saw it, flash and was able to get it. This is what I was talking about here. Saw Dreams trying to mess with him on this one.
Flash, stab, boom!
Confidence there from Cloud9. Palafox, as I said, was coming in close to seeing he can get at least one reset, but it was King and Vulcan there to help him out. Also, just saving Blabber by the tail end, just in case Palafox was even close.
Yep, and then that final cue from the Tom Kench guarantees Palafox is out of there. Honestly, this game is so far in the favor of Cloud9 now. FlyQuest needs some sort of a huge windfall, some giant throw to come back here.
Yeah, I was looking for a Dark Seal earlier on, but Perks didn't have enough gold for it, was able to get his Mythic, but this time around has that Dark Steel to stack.
Okay, he's got the ring, no charges on it, but he's 5-0-1, so you know the man's got to be confident that he can get that charged up. Second Drake of the game will go over to Cloud9 now as well. FlyQuest trying to push up here in the top side after the tier 1. Fudge knows that his team had their efforts in the bottom half of the map. He knows that he needs to be playing careful. He's not even bothering with the wave just yet. He's going after the Krugs, picking up whatever free gold that he can. Oh, no.
This is what's scary.
Oh, no. Oh,
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
G2 versus RNG at Worlds.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. And you don't want to be Johnson in these situations, man. Perks just hops over the wall, takes 60% of your HP, goes right back. And what did he get hit by? 4 caster minion bullets? It's not really.
Yeah.
It's not an even trade.
They're trying their hardest.
Okay, Cloud9. Let's see what else they can get. How many licks to the center of a turret? That's what Vulcan's trying to find out. It'll be more than a couple, but he's got more than enough time. King also standing around here, just able to help him out as much as need be. You can see plenty of damage being put into that as the plates fall, and the turret will too. Cloud9 now with a 6,000 gold lead at 14 minutes. This is a solo queue type of lead, Raz.
This is rough. For anybody out there watching Johnson's Pro View, it's tough out there. You can't exist out here in this world. You have to take the long way around to go for the bot wave, and it will have to be at your turret. But now take a look at Dreams.
Oh, nope. Take a look while you can, because if you blink, you'll miss it. Perks, 6 kills. You okay, Raz?
I think
you're enjoying this way too much, man.
Just seeing that dead body of SORAK strewn on the ground is probably the most hilarious thing. I'm a bit sadistic about it.
Yeah, just a little bit. SORAK is out here trying to do her best little Star Guardian thing about hopes and dreams, and then the world's evilest magician pops out of the brushes and just drops a tactical nuke as we've got Licorice finding himself caught between Perks and the Kinch. Perks is ready to go. The kick over the wall, trying to make the outplay, but no! Perks does so much damage, he can race send his railgun to the kill, as they might get even another one here. Palafox is down, and King's taking the credit on that one.
The Dark Seal lives. 10-0, Cloud9 are just straight stomping FlyQuest at this point. It felt competitive pretty early on, but it doesn't seem like there's really much of an answer. When you fall behind versus a comp like this, Perks can just sit on his vision and then challenge you to walk at him.
All right, Raz, I'm going to ask your prediction now.
Okay.
22 minutes, more or less, Nexus falls.
Oh.
22 minutes.
More.
More?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm the type of person that believes that Cloud9, they have a pretty comfy lead. They don't want to stop. They don't want to drop it. But take a look at this. What do you
Raz, here comes your favorite moment.
Here it is.
Pop.
You can't even see the body on the ground. All right. Anyways, let's move on to this play. This was just a great movement from Vulcan. Perks already knows where Licorice is going to be heading, and is not going to allow the Senna to get the last hit on this one.
Nope. Just dashes right back in there. Guarantees he gets what he came for. And yeah, Palafox shows up. He wants to get a little bit of revenge, but That ain't happening, man. Not when the whole Cloud9 squad is here. Shelly has been summoned in the mid lane, and this might just be a pre-17-minute inhibitor, unless FlyQuest can do much about it. Problem is, if they try, Perkz is right here, and he's ready to go. Meanwhile, King and Vulcan, Senna and Kench working together in the top lane, but now Vulcan with the teleport. Where is he going to go? And, okay, he's right back down to the bottom lane. Got to defend that turret. Got to keep the perfect game alive.
Yep. Supreme Josh there, correct. This is the Cloud9. I know. They actually have a full week of practice.
Yeah, they actually had a little bit of time now. You can see Perkz. He's got 5 pages in the book. It's evolved into a book. Oh, no. Oh, no, Jose. Oh, he saw that little red silhouette there in the corner. That's the kind of thing you see in a horror movie.
Yep. It's one of those moments that you look in a mirror, you see the killer, you're like, you look back,
he's behind me. Oh, man, Dreams just can't even leave the base. Nobody can leave the base. FlyQuest is just having a hard time playing League of Legends right about now. Perkz is just roaming around by himself. He don't need Blabber. He don't need Fudge. All he needs is somebody else's name to write in his book.
Look how claustrophobic this is if you're FlyQuest.
You know what this is? You ever seen Kill Bill?
Yes.
It's the scene where she's stuck, buried alive, and you're just claustrophobic from watching it. You are vicariously claustrophobic as she's trying to punch her way out of that coffin. There is no punching your way out of this one for FlyQuest, because as soon as your hand comes up out of the ground like the living dead, Perkz makes sure that you are the living dead.
And it's a hell of a feat, because everybody else that's in that position, oh no, you're going to survive.
Okay.
Is able to get out of that one. You're not Kill Bill. You're not punching that coffin. No. You're like, I guess this is it.
I guess this is how it ends. Cloud9 grouping up, still pushing. We got 18 minutes on the clock, and they're making a play in the bottom lane with Licorice as the target. Blabber throws out the stab, but he won't go any further just yet. Jose Deodo making his way down here towards the bottom lane. Now Blabber's taking the chance. He wants to go in with another stab coming out. Licorice with the jump over the wall, but Blabber's still got the extended range on the audacious charge.
Remember the good times? Heated Totters? He was one like you.
Fudge might just end up being the one kill that ruins the perfect game, but no! He gets the great escape, and he's over into the loving arms of King, who's ready with the heal. Now Blabber, with the enemy top laner removed from the bottom half of the map, can secure the 3rd Drake of the game uncontested for C9. I don't really have anything else to say about it other than that. It's about an 11,000 gold lead at 18 minutes, Raz.
He sees him.
He's ready to go. He's over the wall. There's blood in the water, and Perkz is hungry. Now we've got this bottom lane falling apart yet again here. That is now 6 turrets for the side of Cloud9. Oh, nope, make it 5. I was just a little bit ahead of me there. That tier 2 turret, I believe, is still standing in the top lane.
Yeah, it is.
According to the graphic, okay. So True Shot Barrage fires off. Everything's under pressure. Everything's crumbling to pieces. Cloud9, 19.5 minutes into the game. They're pressuring 2 different inhibitor points. That mid lane inhibitor turret already removed. The one here in the bottom lane. Now your target, Vulcan, standing next to Blabber and King, ready to devour anyone that might get jumped on.
They're just chilling here. I mean, at this point, mid lane wave is coming through, so now FlyQuest has to be able to pick this one up, and C9 are just going to collapse on the wave that comes through bot lane. And they're just going to say, come at me, because at this point, finally, Perkz is going to be able to join them. Went back to base, was able to get his 5-stack Magi, so he's living like a king.
Oh, he loves it. He loves it.
Yeah, he's got 5 chapters in that book.
And here's the problem, too. You just saw the vision toggle. FlyQuest have no wards outside of their base. FlyQuest do not know what's happening on Summoner's Rift outside these walls, and the walls will not be safe much longer. Blabber's going in. Licorice stays alive just barely. Vulcan continuing to walk on forward. A little bit more damage coming out, but not enough just yet. But King gets the kill on the enemy support. Make it a second one coming through for Perkz here as he goes legendary on LeBlanc. Bottom inhibitor is your target. Cloud9 can take that one down pretty swiftly. They can fall back, or they can stick around and go for the mid lane
Go back to base.
You take the inhib now, and then you're setting yourself up for a free Baron after the fact. Vulcan eats a little damage from Mystic Shot, but that don't matter too much. Inhibitor falls. Cloud9 still hanging around, but with the death timer still very short, they will fall back.
That's what I like to see, mostly because I made that.
I was going to say, yeah, this is what you like seeing that 22-minute bet, because they only have 70 seconds left now.
Exactly. You know, they're already winning, and then some. So, like, they don't want to take too many risks. And at this point, it's a pretty fun game for them, their point of view.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. They get seen on the ward, and we all know what Perks.
We all know what that means. Okay, so Tahm Kench now with Frostfire Gauntlet and Dead Man's Plate.
Oh, no.
Very tanky. Uh-oh. What's going to happen here? Jose Dioto finds him. I was trying to take it seriously. And then he just 100 to zeros him instantly, man. That's what 9-0 LeBlanc is going to... Oh, I'm sorry. He just got the 9th one. That's what 8-0 LeBlanc is going to do to you. Jose Dioto gave it his best shot, but your best shot when you're 13,000 gold behind, it's so hard to get what you're looking for. Perks approaching from the side, looking yet again. Might just get caught out here a little bit, but gets away. Licorice nearly dead. Minion making the greatest sacrifice to protect him from the accelerated shock blast, but that's not enough. Blabber's coming in over the top, and FlyQuest have to try to defend this. Now the win becomes Lightning, not grabbing the kill yet, but Fudge takes him down. Equalizer drops on the wave, trying to make the last-ditch effort to keep this defended. Jose Dioto getting away with just 10% HP. Cloud9 with a 5-man push, with super minions rolling in from 2 lanes. They're looking to end this game right now. 16-0 so far. Vulcan being taken low, but the thick skin keeps him alive. Jose Dioto's just gonna pop. FlyQuest gonna drop, and Cloud9 just don't stop. More damage rolling in on the spawn platform, and nothing can keep you safe. Cloud9 takes him down.
With a perfect game to FlyQuest. Talk about a statement.
Yeah. Holy moly. Anybody that was feeling nervous after week number 1 with Cloud9 going 1-2 like that, I think they're going to feel a little bit better after this one.
Yeah, 1 week of practice, they come back. And I don't know what they did in the back home in the Cloud9 house, but they're jacked up.
And I said that I wanted to see that G2 style, that G2 energy on Perks' LeBlanc. I think we got it. He was just rotating around the whole map, popping people wherever there was a health bar that wasn't all the way empty, Blabber on the Zinjal, having that killer instinct. This is the Cloud9 that people expect.
It's fun, man. You get to see games like these where Perks is just online, and he knows that he can feast. I already called it out as a reminder of what happened at RNG at Worlds.
Yep.
Uzi knows that feeling. All AD carries know that feeling, and supports, mage supports as well. You got to put that in there.
I mean, we remember your favorite scene of SORAK just poof as soon as she tries to cast the wish, the magical anime energy comes down and she just dies in it. It's just there's no way out, man. The LeBlanc is so scary, and I think that goes back to like the kind of champions that we love to see Perks play, right? Champions with autonomy. I don't want to watch Perks clear the wave on Victor for 9 hours.
True.
I want to watch Perks play something that takes Electrocute and blows somebody up. That's what's fun to see from such an incredibly mechanically skilled player like him.
Exactly. When you have someone coming into North America, you want to see them on, those picks that make them fantastic. You don't want to see them on picks like Karma.
Oh, no.
Why would you want to see it? No, like, I love seeing it. If you have an angle to bring back LeBlanc, Kiana, these flashy type of...
They're always so fun to see.
They are.
Right?
They are.
They're always so fun to see. Cloud9 showed exactly why they can pick those kinds of champions in this game. We've seen the Karma mids work. We've seen things like LeBlanc work mid lane. Whenever more things are viable, it's always more fun to watch because you get to see those different strategies. Senna Tahm Kench also showing up there bottom. King and Vulcan having a great time on that one. I mean, that entire game was a stomp, but by the end of it, Vulcan was just an unkillable rock with the Frostfire Gauntlet plus the Dead Man's Plate. What are you even going to do to this guy?
This game was hilarious in the fact that you're right. He was just brawling it out the bot lane, like in a 1v2 situation, knowing that Senna was coming by. And then King was like, I can help you. Looking at mid lane.
Yeah, let's go over there.
I can try and send an ulti in that direction. Yeah, this is the type of Cloud9 that I love. When they have a huge advantage and they're really confident against a team like FlyQuest, going on further in the split, and a game like that. Push their limits. It's what I want to see.
Would you say that they unclogged the Kench?
They unclogged the Kench, guys.
Was the Kench truly unclogged this game?
The Kench.
It looked like he was, because everybody on Cloud9 just seemed to be having the time of their lives, man. You all at home can't quite hear it behind us, but whenever the players have exclamatory reactions, we can hear them. I definitely heard a couple of pop-offs during that last game, and I'm thinking they were probably from the Cloud9 side, based on how that game was, how that game felt. But again, I want to give props Perks to Blabber too here in the Xinjiao. The plays that he was able to make, again, the one that immediately comes to mind around the Raptor pit, flash forward, knowing you're going to land the stab to get on top of the Soraka, getting that extended range on the E, and just setting it up for Perks to continue to shine with
exactly
David.
On the same page. And that's what you want to see from Cloud9 because, you know, with this team, the lanes that were performing at MSI, top lane, bot lane, but you needed to see what got them there to begin with, right?
Right.
Cloud9, what got them into that position was through Blabber, the Spring Split MVP, and Perks, that like all first team mid laner. And he was someone that, for sure, mid lane in Perks, was someone you wanted to see, that you're excited. He was a pop-off type player.
Oh, hell yeah.
Blabber has always been that person. So I always wanted to see what they could do. This game was an exclamatory statement. Good luck to anyone else facing them in the rest of the weekend.
Oh, indeed. But that was the end of our last game for the day. So now we're heading over to La Tigris and the man himself, Perks, for the Verizon post-game interview.
Yeah, we couldn't let a performance like that go by without hearing from Perks directly. So we saw the Xinjiao was brought out, Senna brought off the ban block, but your girl LeBlanc really pulling through here. Why did you decide to bust her out today?
I mean, I was just going through a list of the champions, AP champions that I could play, because we really need AP damage. And LeBlanc looked pretty good, especially when they picked Soraka. I think Soraka is in general pretty bad against LeBlanc. Like range supports are pretty bad against LeBlanc. So I didn't actually play LeBlanc, like honestly, one game in scrims or solo queue for like a month now, probably. It just looked good. I don't know. Sometimes you just have this feeling, and like if you believe in it, if you really believe in it, then you're gonna do it, you know. And it's like it just looked good, so I just picked it. And it's one of my comfort champs, so it feels good to play it, I guess. Yeah.
And there was a lot of belief. Actually, it was a unanimous decision that you were player of the game after that. Does that surprise you at all, considering your performance?
No, not really.
I think that a lot of people are aligned with you in that, and I just want to know, did you decide to go and spend a lot of time top at the start for a reason, or is that just where your eye gravitated towards?
I mean, I just want to win the game, and since we're winning top early levels, I really want to help like top win harder, I guess. And I think that it's just not something like specific. Like I don't have a grudge against Licorice. That, like we have to kill in top or something. But like I just thought it's the best player.
I love seeing this energy from you and the rest of the team immediately after this victory. It is obviously shared by the Cloud9 fan base. There was some question, you know, coming after last week. How should people feel about Cloud9? How much stake did you put into the 1-2 finish of last week? And are there any adaptations that you made throughout this last week with the team?
I mean, I think last week was a little bit overblown since we just had a change. And also the first game was kind of a free win. And the second game, it was like only my reason, like my fault why we lost. So I think also going into this week, we have a much better grasp of the meta as well. Like we understand what are power picks, and somehow they like sniped them out today. I don't know, but we are like just like much more comfortable in the meta and know what we want to play. So I'm pretty confident. Yeah.
And speaking of the meta, it always does take a bit of time for it to develop once you get back into that competition. There's been a lot of discussion on what the mid lane looks like. A lot of assassins coming through, but some people still sticking with the control mages that we have seen in the past. What is your read on the mid lane and the power that can come from it currently?
I definitely think you can play a lot of things mid lane right now. I'm not entirely sure what is the strongest yet. Definitely AD mids I like to play. They feel pretty strong, but there's not many strong AP junglers, so it's just hard. Like it's a balance, and I think it's about finding what is a good team come together and what fits well together. And then that's why I actually like this meta. It feels like you can play a lot of things. Maybe in a few weeks, it'll just be like kind of clear what is cut out strongest and whatnot. But as of right now, I'm pretty happy with the variety.
Happy with the variety that you get to play, happy with this performance, a perfect game for you. Because of that, I do want to give this opportunity for the fans that were cheering you on. I saw a lot of action on Twitter. Any words to instill the confidence in Cloud9 going forward in Summer Split?
Cloud9 will never fail as long as I'm here.
High expectations that were met here today. Thank you so much, Perks, for joining me here on the stage.
Thank you.
Over who, though? I think Cloud9 is looking hella hydrated after today. We are going to kick to a short break, and on the other side, we'll continue breaking this down on the State Farm Analyst Desk. I guess this is the last interview of the day. Everyone else is out.
Cloud9, perfect game. Now, that's one way to end a hangover, if I do say so myself.
Perfect game.
Woo!
You can't see it.
That is
It's our homemade confetti.
Mark Zimmerman paper towel confetti. Get it up there in the camera.
I tried to color it blue with a highlighter, but you
Show them all the work you did, sir. Well done.
And now he has to pick it all up.
That's what we do here on the LCS. It's a man of creativity.
did what I could.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of that perfect game, all right?
Now
Let me tell you.
As long as you clean it up at the end, I want this.
We'll see what happens. Might be here tomorrow morning.
Let's talk draft. It was a perfect game from Cloud9, and so much of it was generated from the man in the mid lane, Perks. But talking about getting that LeBlanc outside of lane and affecting others.
Yeah, so he talked specifically about picking it into the Soraka, and we were having a chat off camera about how Soraka isn't necessarily a bad pick, especially if you're looking at how we might be migrating towards less engaged champs, maybe more mages with the Hex Flash disablement or inability to pick it. But unfortunately, into this team composition, you already have Senna, Tom Kench, for sustain and mobility and protection. You have a lot of burst, and that's added with the addition of LeBlanc as their last pick. So it was a really smart draft from C9.
Yeah, and not only was it smart, it was aggressive in all the ways we love to see out of C9, right? We heard Perks just talking about, hey, he sees Jace as a head top. Okay, he's going top. We're getting kills. You have the Xin early, so you're able to put a lot of pressure on the enemy jungler. So this is exactly the kind of look we like to see from them. And now that they have a good read on the meta and there's assassins that can be played, I think it's actually a perfect meta for C9.
Yeah, it's one of those things, too. You can talk about the draft a lot, and I think the Soraka, I have my eye on. This was like not necessarily the best game for it potentially in the draft, but it really doesn't matter when the top lane gets rolling quite this hard. I mean, Perks did a great job getting up to the top side, finding kills from the Jace pick early on, and then just spreading his influence over the entire game. Starts getting a solo kill. Awesome job, Senna, picking up that assist for shielding on an already dead target. That was dope.
That's free money right there.
Teamwork.
Some great Senna play.
That's free money.
Love to see it.
Oh my God, he had a 15 KDA.
Yeah, he had like 83% kill participation. Almost the entire game was because of Perk.
Well, and we were wondering during the course of the game whether or not this was one where he might eclipse the kill record in the LCS. The game just didn't go long enough, right? You kind of have to straddle that line of pure dominance, but also giving him enough room to breathe to let it go long enough, and he just wanted to end it.
He's not enough of a KDA player.
That's it, right?
Yeah, that's the real problem.
Yeah, he's a winning player, is what that makes
Would you have to trade the perfect game to let them stay alive long enough?
Exactly. Which one do you care about more, I guess?
He's a team player. What do you want to say?
Yeah. Well, also, I actually did like hearing his thought process behind the performance, last week, saying that they felt, yes, it was a little overblown in terms of any concern that people might have, but as well his insight as to the mid lane specifically, because we've had conversations around everything from the Karma to the Akalis, the LeBlancs. We've seen Renekton's in the mid lane. We still talk about Rumble as a possible flex in those kinds of situations. And of all players in the league, I feel like Perks is the guy you want to have your team in a meta that allows for that flexibility.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw him pick Renekton, and look, it didn't work out too well, but the fact that he can play Renekton successfully in this meta at all is a testament to how good the meta is for him, because he has so much versatility, and people talk a lot about G2 Perks and the leadership he provides. He can enable his team to also take cues from the variety of picks that he enables from the mid lane that unlocks abilities to play AP junglers in the jungle, or more aggressive split pushers top. So this is a really good look for him.
And obviously we're rightly giving a ton of credit to Perks, but perfect games are team efforts.
True.
I think it's worth giving a shout out to Fudge for getting the better of Licorice in that laning phase, setting up a lot of those kills, nearly solo killing him. Great objective control by Blabber to make sure you are actually using this pressure to secure neutral objectives. All that stuff really comes together. And then obviously Senna TK is playing weak side, not letting themselves ever die. It got a little close sometimes, but they outplayed and even traded flashes at points.
Yeah, and with that, not talking a lot about FlyQuest, but obviously it was a tough game for them. If you did check in on ProView or have it yourselves, you may have noticed that. Actually, they had good attitudes about it. Licorice taking Licorice and stuff out into all chat. Please, just one kill for good times.
Remember the good times. Remember the good times.
And I think that's the way you've got to approach a loss like that. Sometimes games just get blown out of control, and you just simply can't recover it. I will be curious to see, as FlyQuest was one of those teams that went 2-1 in week one, how they recover for the rest of the 3-day weekend. But after an eventful start to our weekend, let's go ahead and take a look at the stands. We got TSM. They're no longer alone in first place. That's right. They're now tied with Cloud9, right back to the top of the table. 100 Thieves, Team Liquid, they trail just behind them in third place. We got Dignitas Quantum Play, who've landed in 5th, and Evil Geniuses settling into 6th. So not a ton of jostling, but I think for as quick as TSM launched out to the front of the pack, Cloud9 closes that.
Yeah, the reign at the top was short-lived, and 100 Thieves, we got to revisit how good they look today, right? Because we talked about how there was a bit of a power vacuum. 100 Thieves was like, we're going to fill it. Right now, I think the entire top of the table looks extremely competitive.
Yeah, one game between the top 4 teams. That's exactly what you want to see. And, it's a longer summer split compared to spring. You have 3 round robins, so we'll have a lot of games to see who's really on top.
Flip side, Emily, we saw Evil Geniuses pick up the first win of the summer split for them and do it in similar fashion, where they built, early leads. Yeah. This time, they were just able to close it out like we were hoping. And then I think the other victory of note, while it did come over another team at the bottom of the standings, is CLG. And again, another interview I really loved was with Finn, where he kind of had some nice insight of like, look, they do believe that they can make the improvement up to compete in playoffs, and at the end of the day, they only have to make top 8 to give themselves that opportunity to prove it in a best of 5.
Yeah, I appreciate it. He said we need to be, fluid, like water over there. He was borrowing from Bruce Lee. His interview is actually really good. The team that I, loved from today was obviously 100 Thieves, but Evil Geniuses, I'm so happy they were able to pick up this first win, because we talked about this already. Like, they were not losing like some of the other teams were losing, right? Like it was so close. Oh, yeah, Mark, you had a really good phrase for this.
Mark. It was the best of the not good team.
Yeah, like they're so close to being a good team or something like that.
They can beat any team, but they don't.
But they don't.
But now they do.
But now they do. And it was like only really small adjustments to do that, right? And so we saw that today. So I'm really happy for them, and I hope that they can snowball off of that momentum, because it really was only a few tweaks to getting them back on track.
And what I like too is there's no longer any undefeated teams in Summer Split. Everyone who was 0-3 picked up a win, as well as all the teams that were 3-0 lost.
Took a loss.
So, it just shows, don't overreact to week 1 maybe.
Competition is heating up. That brings us to tomorrow, Saturday, where we're kicking it off with 100 Thieves taking on Golden Guardians. We'll be following it up with FlyQuest and TSM both hunting for their first win of the weekend. We'll close out the day with Immortals taking on Dignitas Quantum Pay. Throughout all of this, again, I think as I called out, I'm curious how FlyQuest recovers, TSM as well, their first loss of the split here. But anything else jumping out to you guys in particular?
That TL-EG matchup. I mean, last split, that was a banger. I believe that was a game where Impact had one of the most monstrous mental performances I've ever seen out of any player in any
sport.
That
was that game,
So I'm really excited to see this back. And when we talk about EG being able to beat anyone, beating a TL would prove that.
Yeah, and Tactical had some solid words for Danny.
Yeah.
Matchup with Danny with a little bit of a response. That guy, he's deluding himself a little bit. He thinks he's gonna get it. See that young gun. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for us here tonight on this Friday evening. We're going to see you here tomorrow. Make sure you remember that the broadcast starts 1 hour earlier. We're kicking it off with our replay files. Some of the best LCS content out there. On behalf of myself, the casters, the entire remote broadcast crew, thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more LCS. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. Good night. What?
You didn't read the stay hydrated one.
Oh, I am stay hydrated. All right, Mark, clean this up.
All right,
you're going to make a snow angel. Like, go down there.